Ari Seth Cohen is a wonderful young man who I met about 10 years ago. And he started something called Advanced Style. And it was on a whim. He had just moved to New York via Seattle after caring for his grandma in San Diego, who he was very fond of. Grandma had grown up in Sioux City, Iowa, but then in the 30s came to New York City to Columbia University to become a librarian. And Ari spent a lot of time with her, and they would watch films from the 30s. And she would say, Ari, you've got to get to New York. You're a creative soul. You need that. And he would dress up with her and put on jewelry and nursed her at the very end. And as soon as she passed, he came to New York. And shortly thereafter, I just ran into him. He was managing the bookstore at the new museum down on the Bowery. And I walked in with a friend, and he came up to me and he said, I'm photographing women over 60. Can I take your picture? And I said, how do you know I'm over 60? And he said, oh, but I forgot my camera. So he borrowed somebody's phone and took a few shots. And then I whipped out my business card and I said, well, here, Ari, let's stay in touch. Come on over. I'll dress up. I'll undress, and I'll even make you a vegetarian lunch. So he freaked out a little bit. And 5 days later, I hadn't heard from him, so I called him. So he came over, and we spent the entire day together. And this was the first time he had done this, because he was mostly doing street shots of people. And especially there were a lot of interesting women coming into the museum. So we spent the whole day, and he photographed my artwork, and he photographed me cooking, and he photographed me getting dressed and changing outfits. And that was the beginning. And then he ran into a young woman, Lena Pleoplite, who knew about Advanced Style, even though it was very young at that point. And she wanted to be involved with him, and she wanted to make a film. She was a young filmmaker. And so we started doing little video vignettes, which are still very funny. And before long, they were getting major hits, and she kept upgrading her equipment and her experiences. And finally, they shot the film. It took, I think, 2 years to shoot and 2 years to edit. And then it traveled around the world, and we went all over with it. We went to Hot Docs in Toronto, and then the real opening was in London, and it's just fabulous. And we all learned so much from it, and from the community that Ari actually created of Advanced Style. And since the film, he put out 2 books, Advanced Style, and then Advanced Style, Older and Wiser, and then the new book that just came out 2 weeks ago called Advanced Love. And this is about couples of all kinds, shapes, persuasions, that he's traveled around and photographed. And some have been together 40, 50 years. Some of us have only been together 10, 12 years. But it doesn't matter. It's all about what happens in coupling. How do you stay together? What do you do to make it interesting? And I think the next book is going to be BFFs, Best Friends Forever. So he's on a roll. Advanced Style is a movement. And it started by Ari Seth Cohen because he said, why are women of a certain age invisible? And he had just arrived in New York, and he sees all these incredible women really stepping out, being courageous, dressing the way they want, and not making any apologies for it. So that hit his creative note, and he just started photographing people on the street. And as we do get older, we should get braver and more courageous, because what are we saving it for? And we are more ourselves, so we might as well just, like I say, flaunt our flavor. What do we, I say we're not going to embarrass the children, we're not going to embarrass the husband, you're not on a job where you have to dress a certain way. And if you do, tough luck. Just, it's time to be yourself. It took all these years to get here, so let's be proud of it.